Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry, I'm supposed to put in my catchy, oh my God, this has happened thing. Nothing drastic's happened, has it? Morning. Just going to check which internet I am on. Because, have a look. Turn the volume down. Make sure we're all good. There we go. So, hope you're all doing well on this lovely Sunday morning. I don't know what time it is for you, wherever you are. If you're in the chat, let me know. Say hi. It is currently 11:30 here. Now, tonight on... Hello, Sean. How are you doing? What are you up to this morning? You trained yet? You coached yet? So, every week on this show, I'll have a theme that I want to talk about. Hello. Hello, Jody. How are you all? I'll have a theme that I want to talk about, and it's more like a brainstorming session, really. It'll be something that I've thought about or something that I've kind of spoke to people about over the week, and some ponderings, really. And this week, so Jon and I spoke to Facundo on Thursday, the mighty Facundo. I'm sure you've seen it. And we spoke about a lot of things there. Got some answers, which was great for a few of the questions. But as always, if you've got a guest, you have to pay respect to conversations and topics. And one of the things that we talked about was recruitment, visuals, how perceptions around things, specifically CrossFit, specifically advertising, recruitment, looking at that kind of thing, with regards to the new branding assets that have been put out. And I know this has been flogged to death, but it's something that I'm really passionate about. In my past life, so I graduated college, 20K. Fuck me. That's a long, that for me, that's like 17K too much. I'm assuming you mean running. Yeah, it's not for me. Squeeze me. Yeah, so I did a Sunday morning session, capacity building thing this morning. After coaching. So where was I? Yeah, so advertising. Now, in my past life, that was it. Graduated university or college in 2006. Doing a ruck, Jody. Love it. 2006. And that first year, I graduated in July, and I was working at BMW, the car manufacturer, in their marketing team. And I worked there for a year. And my role in that year, it was BMW dealer marketing. And so we'd have, from Germany, we'd have a huge portal of branding assets. And the way that it works is you have dealerships around the world. None of them are particularly owned by BMW themselves, especially in the UK. It's run by private companies that use the licensing name and become official BMW dealerships. And they're usually in groups. So you usually have 1, 2, or 3 in a group. They would have access to all the assets, all the branding assets on the portal that they would then go in and populate and have done. Now, the BMW dealer marketing team worked between BMW producing those assets and the dealerships that wanted BMW 428S. Yeah, 428A. We would work there. Now, we were in constant communication. I was in the British team, obviously. And we would deal between the dealerships. So we'd know the dealers. And we would work between them and the actual marketing team producing all of the advertisements way ahead of time, and the designers. Now, my role was to work between the designers at a British and dealership level and the dealerships. So you'd have the dealerships on one side. I would be in communication with them pretty much every week, finding out what assets they wanted, looking at their demographics, understanding what they wanted to advertise, what stock they had left, what they needed to approach, who their clientele were, and really honing in each month on that, which assets they were going to use, what kind of marketing they were going to use, what advertising. Bearing in mind, this is 2006. So this is 2006, 2007. It's obviously a slightly different way of marketing. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook really to use for advertising back then. There was obviously no Instagram. YouTube was in its infancy. So this was all your classic advertising and marketing: TV, radio, paper, magazine, and postcard, like deliverables. So you would have BMW Central creating all of these assets and these ad campaigns for 5 quarters ahead. We would then work between them. And one of the lessons that I learned there was, in even a small group of islands of the UK, each of those dealerships had a very, very different clientele, but they had the same bloody cars to sell and motorbikes with the Motorrad. They had the same assets to sell. They had the same produced marketing tools, but they were adapted extremely differently. And that could be the difference. I know Americans, you guys think much, much, much bigger here. Bearing in mind, I could drive to Yon in the north of Scotland in 7 hours. Good morning, Jelly. Hope you're well. What time is it for you guys at the moment? It must be like, 6:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30? Bravo for getting up at Sunday on that time. But the difference an hour's drive can make in the UK is a completely different, not only accent or dialect, but clientele. It can be chalk and cheese. It can be totally different markets, but we've got the same branding assets, got the same stock to sell, and the same quality control. It all came down to the interpretation of the dealership, which assets they used from that they were given, and then the method that they used. And that was a big learning curve for me in that year that I was there. I didn't have a senior role whatsoever. I was straight out of college or university. It was a executive role, where not executive at the top, but account executive, where I'd be working underneath account managers, not literally. And I learned a lot that year. Now, the following year, and I think this does give me a bit of a segue into CrossFit later on, I worked at Coca-Cola for 4 years. So about 4 years. So late 2007 until late 2013. No, early 2013. So best part of nearly 5 years. So 4.5 years. I worked at Coca-Cola for that amount of time. Now, my role there was working between Coca-Cola's marketing team and then licensed premises. So things like, I know. Whatever. Working between, I don't know the setup in the US. It might be fairly similar, but the pub industry is quite large in the UK. You've got 2 routes really to trade. So you've got the, obviously you've got the front end. So you've got pubs, licensed alcohol license. So they're the ones that sell the product at the front end. They've got 2 routes to channel there. You're either free of tie, so you buy whatever you want and you buy it at the cost that you can get it. So if I own my own pub, I do whatever I want with it. Free trade, I buy from whoever I want, I sell for whatever I want. It's completely free. I own the building. I might rent from it as a tenancy, but that's essentially what I have. The other route is called managed. So you are literally living in the pub and you manage it for a company that owns it. So there's these two routes. Now, the reason I bring that up is because these managed houses had a very different approach than the free of Thai pubs. Now, my job at Coca-Cola was to differentiate and use the branding assets that we had and our pricing structure to differentiate between the two. But ultimately, we sell the same product. I was trying to shift as much volume as I could of Coca-Cola products through those establishments. You can have two pubs right next door to each other on the same road, and they would sell completely different products at completely different prices, but they would buy it in at different prices. I could be selling 10 bag-in boxes for Coca-Cola on the tap to one pub for one price and double the price next door. It all depends on which route they take. I know, Judy, I know, but there's a reason I'm coming on to that. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Now I'm coming on to that. Hang on. Stay with me. During my 4.5 years at Coca-Cola, I learned one thing. Well, I learned a few things actually, but the main thing that I learned was you have to treat every single person that you are selling to as a unique purchaser. You cannot have a blanket approach for the entire industry. It is impossible. It's physically impossible. You cannot have a blanket approach. You have to have themes. You have to have pretenses behind everything. But ultimately, it falls on the publican in this case. So the person who is the landlord or the person selling at the front end. And that's in the Coca-Cola world. And in the BMW world previously, it totally depends on the dealership and the front end there. And in those two instances, the key roles for actually getting past the post and selling are the salespeople. They're the people there. They're the people in the dealership. They're the people on the pub floor selling the products, making decisions. The marketing side of it, that comes down to the tenant or the pub owner or the dealership owner, depending on what roles and what performance indicators they're putting in. So KPIs, those of you that are in the corporate industry, and having the right feedback loop to be able to know and understand your clientele and make those executive decisions so that your front-facing people have the correct use and knowledge base in order to make the sale and to create an environment behind that. So let's think about that process. You've got front end that are actually closing the deal and selling that service or product. You've got the people just behind them making the decisions on what tools and what features and what knowledge base that those people in front of them are having. And then behind that, you have the people that are supplying the assets to them in order to use. And then behind that, you've got the people that are making the real money, the shareholders that just all they see is the money side of it and they want their company to thrive. Now, let's think about our gyms. That's where I was going with this. You've got a 4-tier approach there. Now, you've got HQ at the back here. They're the ones that want to make the big money. They're the shareholders. Then you've got the marketing and the people that produce all those assets and those campaigns. And then you've got the affiliate owners in front of them that are deciding what to use, how to educate, how to inspire, how to motivate their staff. And then you've got the people on the front end actually doing the role and the job that all of that filters down to. You've got the people on the front end, the people that are doing the foundations, the people that are selling the memberships, the people that are waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go and open up the gym, the people that are answering the questions and dealing with the emotional repercussions of the gym being open, the people coming in complaining about their knees, the people on, complaining that their Fran time got worse, the people that are coming in and talking about their family issues. You've got the people on the front line. You've got the people in the BMW dealership trying to push those sales past the post. The people at the front end are more than capable if given the right equipment and tools to use. That's with any business. That's a basic 101. They need the support to be able to do that. And I remember exactly, Julie, exactly. They are the people I'm talking about. Hello, Governor. In our world, I want to be more specific, in our CrossFit world, this all comes down to the coaches, in my opinion. And I might be biased here because that's my role now. But I knew this when I was an affiliate owner. I knew this when I was in the corporate world and I was doing CrossFit. I saw it before I was a coach, when the coaches at the gym that I was going to were coaching and I wasn't a coach yet, or trainer, sorry. There's people that are in our world. Senor Jago, I've been an L2 since 2014, and I'm currently in the process of booking my L3. I've registered and they've accepted it. I just need to make sure I'm ready to book it. So I'm going to do that. Hopefully before the end of the year, I'll get my L3 exam booked anyway. I don't want to rush things. Got a bit of time. Well, December. Yeah. Now, your coaches, trainers, your dealership salespeople, your bar staff, they're only going to be as good as the affiliate owners or managers, or the dealership managers or owners are going to be, or the pub landlords, sorry. They're only going to be as good as those people are. And the assets, the gamification, the responsibility, the value that they're giving them, they're only going to be as good as that. Now, if your gym culture, we talk about that word culture, if your culture isn't set with decent systems in place to allow for that freedom to work within our realm, you're never gonna get anywhere. And the best gyms in the world are the ones that consistently look at that, address it, get feedback, ask for feedback, and are willing to be knocked on the chin a bit and hear things that they don't necessarily want to hear. Think about being a parent. And now on L2 this summer, I loved how much the reference its origins of schools to the shift. Yeah, exactly. And Sean, although my feedback for the L3 is what I would love to see, and I think there's a lot of room for this, is a third party taking control of the L3 in not direct control, but having potentially a paid for service where all of the assets that you need are there, maybe a weekly call-in, a mock exam system, something that directs you. Because anyone that's gone through, I know there's a couple in here, 5 a.m. Squat Club, you're one of these people that I know of. I'd imagine CrossFit, you went through the old system, so you'll know kind of what I'm getting at here. There is absolutely no defined structure. It's cool. You've signed up for L3. You need to book the exam. Here's some of the assets over on this page. Here's some video references over here. Here's a document with links on it to what we think you should probably know. But basically, you've got to know CrossFit. Just go away and see you later. There's no like with the L2 and the L1, there's a handbook that goes with it. It's specifically gone through images. You've got everything else. The L3 is more of, you should know all this shit. Go away and do it all. And there's no structure to it. And because it's all at a testing center, there's no one specific person instructing you or taking you through it. So I can see, and I know there was rumor of, I think Pat Barber was putting something together a little while ago. I'm not sure how far that came. But I really do think if I'm it's a bit of a detour, by the way. If I'm a seminar staff member and I want to make a little bit of money, if I am an old school CrossFitter and I know all this information, if I'm CrossFat, and I want to make some money here, I set up a mentoring program with all of those assets pre-made, and a weekly call in, maybe as a group, a reading thing. There's so much potential there, because someone that's been doing CrossFit since 2012 as a trainer and as a coach, my worry is that I know the L1 and the L2, pass first time. That's awesome, because the first time pass rate is very, 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 very low, by the way. I don't know if you saw the stats on that. It's something very low, the people that pass first time. Yeah, my worry is that maybe I've got a bias. Maybe I've been sloppy with my education. I've got too used to the routine of coaching and doing specific parts of the education piece rather than keeping up to date with the L1 and the L2. It's a big step. It's a big exam. And I know a lot of L3s and I know what type of people they are. So that's all that is. Anyway, that's the detour. Sorry. It does seem they're invested heavily in 1 and 2 and taking the foot off the pedal with L3 and now going back all in. Potentially, but I think that comes, and again, I don't want to look up moaning. I don't want to. It's a good system, and people do pass it, obviously, and the people that do pass it are clearly the better trainers, theoretically, because there's no physical exam and observation. Again, you could almost get away with being one of these SWATs that just is incredible reviser and knowledge based person. You could have one of the best in-person coaches that knows CrossFit through and through and can coach, but then an exam environment doesn't suit their capability. So maybe there's room in the future, I don't know, to have more of an in-person thing. And I know that CrossFit will answer me here. I know that was with the previous level 2, which became the level 3, which blah, blah, blah. I think for certain coaches, that's probably a preferential route, but obviously we're here. We've got what we've got. We're here where we're at. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, that's the L3 thing. And I guess, truth be told, I'm just sort of probably nervous about it, but that's a good thing. It's good to be nervous. If I wasn't nervous, if I was overconfident, cocky, and just a bit obnoxious about it, I think that would be more concerning than someone that's yeah. Look, it's like going into a workout, isn't it? This is what the workouts like Fran do. This is what the scary workouts do. 3, 2, the open, it preps you for stuff like this. So which is good. Yeah, exactly. Although having said that, I was talking to my wife last night about this. I am not nervous in the slightest about the whole birth thing in December. We've got a third on the way in December, as you know, and I'm not nervous at all about getting to the hospital, about sitting down, about going through the labor thing. Obviously, it's not me that's doing it. I've been there twice. The first time I was shit scared, not knowing what the fuck's going on. Wife had a spinal after about 20 hours of being in breach and not being able to do anything. It managed the forceps in the end because she was back to back and issues. She had a spinal back in the room. They forced forceps out. That's the first one. So surgically, out the vag. Second one, really good birth, water birth, went really well. That was 6 years ago. We had our second. Third one, I have been secretly looking forward to I watched the videos from the hospital, not graphic videos, but like videos of my wife on gas and air, and then me just sitting waiting and watching my wife be and again I don't want to be mean to people that haven't been through this or can't go through this, right? But when you see your wife going through that, I think that's when you really truly fall in love and understand what womanhood is. It's such a deep feeling of connection that you feel when you see your wife going through that. You're helpless. You cannot help whatsoever. And you see them going through this like a fucking boss. And it's pure womanhood. It's pure. And and I watch the videos sometimes and then the emotional just feeling of joy when you see your kid for the first time and you hug it, and then you see your wife hold it for the first time. It's it's one of those moments in life that it's ingrained. And we're very fortunate where we have cameras at our disposal and video phones where we can capture that. And with all that in mind, I'm excited for December to have the kids are gonna our current kids are gonna be with my parents. Katie and I'll be at the hospital. We get to go there. We get to go through that process, and I get to experience a thing that I feel like I missed the first two times because I was nervous the first time. Second time, there was a bit of hesitation, but now I'm a bit older, and I can't wait to feel that again. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah. Sorry, this one. Anyway, yeah, sorry, back to normal programming. Sorry, a bit of a detour there. Everyone should take the yeah. I, I CrossFit. You'll have to tell me about this because obviously I clearly didn't do it. I've heard people talking about it and discussing it, but and actually I heard Old Royd and Chan talking about it on some of the prep videos, and they were talking about it, and they're discussing the fear and the process of going through it. And Carl Stedman, when he was on, he talked about this as well. And it was at his coaches prep. It was at that point when he got recruited to become seminar staff. So yeah, I'd imagine that's probably what the L4 is probably all about. But yeah, so that's awesome. I did my L1 with Boz. I think probably the same year as I did it. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, it took a massive fucking detour there, didn't we? I can't remember what I was talking about. L3, yeah, L3. Going back to the coaches thing and the quality of the coaching and the point of this topic was been thinking about the assets that we've been given from the marketing team, and referring back to my story. It's not a story, it's true. My experience at BMW and Coca-Cola, the assets that we have, Julie, I hide that. I don't let that out very often. So yeah. I'll delete this show afterwards. It's fine. You'll be the only ones that know. I haven't seen. Well, I know what's using those assets. It wasn't what they should be. Isn't that what they? Yeah. So, and again, Jody, the assets that, let's use the BMW for example. The assets that we were given we would have, let's say, a global campaign for the new 535 5 series coming out in July. The assets would be created in Q4, the previous year. So we get it in November, December time. We would then have the best part of 6 months to work between the dealerships and getting their assets all in line and ready to go for newspaper, magazine, deliverables, ad campaigns, radio campaigns, all that kind of. They'd have 6 months to take those assets and run with it and go at the same week. So we'd have a deadline of like end of March, and then we'd have 2 months for the dealership and networks to get in contact with all the newspapers, with all the printables, with all the radio channels, make all the sales and adjustments and get those done. Hello, Kenneth. Don't scroll back. Just keep where we are. We would have so long, and this is way, way, way before the public ever saw any of it. This is 6 months prior. Now, what we haven't had is the affiliates haven't been given that grace period of having those assets ready before the campaign went out in order to get them molded and ready to go at the same time. So that's the difference here. The affiliates got given the assets at the same time as they went public with them. So the affiliates are running a little bit behind. What could have happened potentially here, depending on how far ahead the assets were produced and were made, there could have been a grace period where the affiliates were given a bit of grace period to run with it, to make it, to adapt it, to decide on what they wanted, and then go ahead. And I was thinking about this, right? So Facundo mentioned the other day on the show that he wants better systems in place. He wants better communication. And I asked him what that would look like. What is it? What exactly is that they're after? Like if you ask an affiliate owner, we want more communication, we want CrossFit to listen. Okay, cool. What is it? Write that down. Not we just want more communication or we want them to listen. But okay, what? To what do you want? Be specific here. If your wife says to you or your husband says to you, I want to communicate better. Cool. What does that mean? Do you mean you want an email once a month? Do you want to sit down and have a romantic dinner every week? Do you want to sit down when the kids go to bed and chat about the day? What is it? Be specific. Okay. We are logic-based creatures and we need that decision-making process done. Now, with these assets, I think partly I questioned Facundo on that because I didn't quite get what I hear the same thing all the time. We need more communication or we need systems. That's cool. And I was thinking about what he said when I was doing the editing for a clip that we're putting up later. And I was straw manning, I think that's the right term, my own disagreement with that, or my own hesitation around that. And one thing that I was thinking about with the marketing assets and the branding assets was it could have been a better way of doing things to have created the assets, to give an access to the affiliates and to say, look, we are going to go live with these, even if it was a month. We're going to go live with these in a month. Now, I appreciate on the back end now, you can see the flow and you can see for the next 6 months. That's awesome. So down the line, we've got that. But for those initial ad campaigns that went out, I think it could have been really cool. Imagine how good it would have been if globally all the gyms were given the opportunity to release a bespoke specific ad on their Facebook page, their Instagram page, populated with their contact details or their gym, with exactly the same ad going out as a blanket. Boom, this is CrossFit. All the affiliates going out, not just HQ doing it. That would be really impactful, I think. And that's the kind of communication that I could probably get on board with being a system in place that could help and assist. And I think that glues together some of my reservations around the branding. And I think that was my problem when it came out. I think it was just that it was such a shock tactic that it came out that no one had really anticipated it coming out. Not even the affiliates, not even the coaches. especially the public. So I think I can begin to see what Facundo meant by better systems and communication, which I'd like to think that this is all the start of an integration there. But at the same time, I'm very aware. And I know this sounds silly, but 4.5 grand a year to be an affiliate, it isn't actually that expensive compared to other licensing agreements or affiliations or franchise agreements. I know we're not a franchise. It's quite cheap. So I know that the income isn't going to necessarily support that, but I think there are systems in place that could potentially be much better done, and a bit of cohesion. So that was my thought on that. Um, we need to change CrossFit athletes. What do you mean by that, Judy? Do you mean the term athlete, or do you mean that CrossFit athletes need to change, or was that a comment on something someone said? Um, Interested to know what you meant. Try ivermectin. Ivermectin for sickness. Sebi, tell me that. Try ivermectin. Yeah. Well, I think a few people were talking about that. And ivermectin isn't it something like the? No, that's. Isn't it down? Obviously, we had this conversation 4 years ago now, isn't it? Um, the most successfully tested and least side effect drug on earth, something like that. Um, oh, I see. Right. Okay. I see what you mean. The CrossFit athletes crime we want change. Yeah. So again, what what is it that you think needs changing? And there were some feedbacks, but it's very, very specific at that time because of what had happened. Um, yeah. But even now, I can't even remember what demands they'd made. It was like dethrone Castro, uh, and that was the gist of what I remember. Um, yeah, again, it's if you want to work in an adult environment, and again, I think there is room for. Look at the people that like in CrossFit, right? The people that I've spoken to that understand this thing and understand it from a ownership perspective, from an affiliate perspective, from a coaching perspective, from a public facing perspective. They're all people that had a life before CrossFit that were in a corporate world. Daniel Chaffee, he worked at, I think it was Life Fitness, or he worked in the fitness industry at a corporate level. He understood the industry going in, was shown CrossFit, and then was told by Carl that he should open his own affiliate. Here we are many, many years later, and he's on the Mount Rushmore of CrossFit. Facundo had a life in politics, then went into it. He understands people, he understands how to sell, he understands perceptions and values, and he understands how people work. He understands psychology very well. Carl, same thing. Corporate world, adapted it, came in, did the job very, very well. He understands people. At the front facing side of what we do, we have to understand people. We are people. That's the whole point of our culture. And we talk about, I know we're not allowed to say community anymore, right? But our culture, our community within that culture is serving the people. That's what we do. As a coach, the reason I want people moving better in a squat is so they can learn and they can move better, they can be more efficient, and they can train harder and they can get better results. And in that environment, in part of our culture, we use that word a lot, and it's true. We're not your Globo gym where people can, as a PT, I can go into Globo and I can teach someone to squat just like I can in a CrossFit gym as an individual. But that isn't in that environment, is it? The environment that we all love. We are people, we are tribes, and we love working in part of that culture. So we have to protect that culture. My other internal debate that I'm having at the moment as well, I've actually made a slide for this. Can you imagine that? And I'll bring it up in a minute. Bearing in mind my background in marketing before all this and the conversations I've been having recently, I'm having a hard time equating the development and growth of CrossFit over here with the golden era iconography, we're badasses approach. I'm having a hard time getting them to match and be the same thing at the moment. And the more that I'm researching for the L3 and the more that I'm thinking back to my love for Pukey and when I first started CrossFit, it's getting even more conflicted. I'm really finding it hard internally. And I would love to be someone that can just go, fuck it, yeah, I'm on board. I can't do that. I have to really knuckle down until I truly believe it, right? And to do that, I need to process this and I need to understand and make them work together. Hello, Craig. Now, I fucking love Pukey, right? I've got how many t-shirts with him on? Okay, in my old gym, we had it up in the wall. So bear that in mind when I say this, right? We've heard a lot of, we need to preserve the culture. We need to get rid of the deadwood. We don't want, I think there was a load of people in one of the chats. I can't fucking remember which chat it was. So this is no one specific, but they were talking about, we don't want pussies in our gyms. We only want hard workers and we want double hard Dannies, right? The thing is, is our slogan is forging elite fitness. We forge it. Forge is create or make. So we make elite fitness. We forge it. We produce it. In my mind, we are taking people that don't have it and we are making people that do have it. That's the logic in me. Now, the people that don't have it yet could quite easily fall under that pussy thing that people keep saying, or the lazy people, or the people that don't want to work hard. I would probably argue the majority of people that walk into a CrossFit gym by our standards and comparisons are lazy. Remember, we turned sixes into nines, right? Remember that. Okay. That was a big slogan. We're taking people that don't do it and we're turning them into the people that do, using our methodology and our culture and our sport. Now, with that in mind, does seeing gritty, hardcore, fuck the system campaigns, does that cast the net for that group of people that we need to turn into the hardcore people? Or does it purely recruit the people that are already in that realm? Now, as CrossFit gyms, and if this is the case, then I totally get it. Are CrossFit gyms places where we take in already fit and healthy people and turn them elite? If that is the case, then I'm all on board with it and I can make sense of it. But if it's somewhere where we can take anyone and turn them into CrossFitters, I'm not sure it works. I'm not sure. I can't compute those gritty scare tactic adverts. I'm not sure they appeal to the broader, not totally broad, not everyone. And I think there's room there to build on what we've done with these initial shock tactics and the campaigns. And I had a bit of wordplay the other day on Scott's channel. We Forge Elite Fitness and other gyms are forgeries of Elite Fitness. Hey, how'd you like that? Forging Elite Fitness affiliates, developing Elite Fitness. Yeah. Something like that, yeah. And again, like we think of anyone that's done the L1 or L2 or L3 or onward, L7, sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. On that continuum, right, here's a question for you then. You need to think about this. On that continuum, where would you plot the ideal candidate to join a CrossFit gym? On that continuum, you have to put a dot in where you're thinking it, right? CrossFit, you can laugh all you want at me, man, but that works. And you know it, boy. I think speaking to a stronger power base has shown it works recently. Happened with President having to New York Mayor now. I don't know about that. I'm sorry. I haven't kept up with US politics for a little while now. I sort of unplugged from all of that. Yeah. Yields. I think you're right. John Pollock is not loving the feeling of it. Yeah, and you know what? It again, this is where I'm in conflict because I know I'm sat on the fence here, right? And I know that, and this is what I'm trying to understand. And this is the beauty of having this channel. I can ask questions and people can help me here because believe it or not, I don't fucking know everything, right? I know very, very little, as this L3 prep is proving. I'm finding it. I'm just trying to find the matchup here where they both work together. And it is there. I'm just a bit slow with all of this stuff, right? So I just need a bit of help with it. So what I did, right, is, and I want you to think about that sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. Where would you, if you could only put one pin in there for the ultimate member at your gym, right? Where would they begin on that sickness, fitness, wellness continuum? Now, I'll be honest, I used ChatGPT for this. I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes. I didn't do any of this research myself, but I've read through it now. I asked very specific prompts, which is a good thing. Oh, before I do that, El Padrino. Very glad you said this, right? Should all coaches be fighting to be double hard, or do you need coaches that are happy where they are? Right. So this morning at the gym, I was talking to Erin, who is the owner of the gym. Extremely fit woman. She's 37, just mum of two, but insane athlete, like incredible, right? She started to feel the decline in her top end elite performance at the gymnastics and weightlifting side of things, right? So it started to stagnate and dwindle a little bit. Not dwindle, but you know, she hasn't gone on an upward trajectory. We've got another coach, Sean, who is 26, built like a fucking Adonis, right? He's been a CrossFit since he was 14 at the gym. He's been doing it for 12 years and he's a machine, right? when Sean's coaching this week, he demoed a pull-up, a strict pull-up, a strict chest to bar, and a strict muscle-up when he was coaching at the beginning to demo. Erin and I saw it, and Erin commented and said, I can't do that anymore without having to warm up prior. And we had a whole conversation with another coach about, does your ability to coach rely on your ability to do the movements in demonstration? I think as a coach, you don't need to demonstrate every single movement, including the high skill, but you need to be able to coach them and instruct people that do. Being a coach and a trainer and getting the best out of people doesn't have a requirement for you to be able to do it yourself. And an easy way of saying, an example of this is if you've got a female coach and the RX weight on her back squat is 150 kilos, you're not expecting her to demonstrate the load of the movement. You're expecting her to look at the movement patterns and understand that and be able to coach it. The skill level on a pull up to chest to bar to muscle up is the same as the load on a barbell. Where was it? No, this one. It's easy for a coach to demo. They may not. Yeah. And again, who was it that's saying this the other day? Someone was saying that someone on the shows. I think it was Facundo when I asked him, actually. More often than not, what CrossFit's saying is exactly that. If you're an insane athlete from a young age and you've just picked up stuff and you've never had to go through the scaling process or understand, you may well not understand how to scale back or forward for people at a lower level than you in terms of ability. So it's a tricky one. I don't think, and Jody has made a good point. Adaptive athletes are coaches. Exactly. Personally, I could never coach something that I can't do when I'm teaching the kids things. Okay. I mean, that is interesting. It's a shame, but I get it. I can coach gymnastics extremely well, and I get people to muscle ups and everything all the time. But I'm not in a place where I'm happy to demo it and do it all the time. So especially if you're coaching that class 5 times that day, not quite the case. But I do see what you mean. And again, there's no definitive answer to this. And if you're not comfortable doing it, then that's cool. And CrossFit is, we've had this debate, and it's the question that I asked Greg and I asked Daniel and I asked Facundo. It's very rare that you get the elite athletes in any sport but going on to be the best coaches. Very fucking rare. And there's a reason for that. They haven't learned the path. They haven't learned the same path that average Joes have to go through to get there. It's a very different. So yeah, exactly. And it's a personal preference. And if you're that way inclined as a coach, fucking bang on. You know what you're comfortable doing, and maybe it's something as a development area you can work on and try to feel comfortable doing that. Because I think you're limiting your coaching prowess and the results that you can get from people by doing that. Maybe again, it's personal preference. Oh, shush now, sir. Right, again, I can't fucking remember where I was. Went on a massive detour there. Coaching. So Erin, yeah, so we had a big discussion about that, and I think the closer you've been to being an elite athlete, I think that drop off is probably a bit more pronounced as you get older. Whereas someone like me that was never an elite athlete by any stretch of the imagination, my coaching prowess has never wavered. I'm a better coach now than I was as I've got older, and I understand scaling processes very well because I've gone through them all. I scale up, I scale down all the bloody time. I change up things, and I enjoy coaching. And because my decline in my own performance hasn't been there, I haven't seen a decline, because I've never been the elite, my threshold hasn't been right up here to be able to drop down. Maybe that's it as well. I don't know. I don't know. Coach should look like they care about something. We don't need all body type stuff to be an extreme. Did your neck surgery? Yeah, I had a close call last night as well. Fuck me. Ugh. I'm swallowing a bit funny today. So my kids learned what was it? Bow choke. It was like something to do with archery. Anyway, I can't remember. Bow and arrow, something like that, or a fucking crossbow choke or something. So they go around the back and they go over the top of the shoulder under here, underneath the arm, and then they do a choke across here. Volvo. Vauxhall Nova, I'd go with. But yeah, we were mucking around and my son got me in that choke. He's 6. And we're mucking around fine and I tapped out. And then he did it again and I hadn't said go. And he fucking went hard and right up into my throat. Fucking hell, I felt a click, like a little click in my throat. And this morning I'm swallowing funny. I haven't told him. I cannot stand Alfa Romeos. And apologies if anyone likes them or's got one. What a pile of shit. I hate them. I look at them and think bollocks. Like they just look ugly. I can't stand them. If you're going to go Italian, go something better. They're just pants. And they break down constantly. They're just shit. But yeah, that's my opinion. Subjective opinion. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, your my slide. Let's go back to my slide. All right, so this is my prompt for this was: is there any? I'm going to paraphrase it here. Please, I always say please, and I know I shouldn't. I say to ChatGPT, please, can you find me? And apparently that like burns rainforests every time I write please and thank you. It sounds rude. Find me this or do this. I can't do it, unfortunately. I know I'm talking to AI here. So my prompt was something around the lines of: is there any data or research to suggest that scare tactics or gritty marketing can have a negative impact on recruitment for gyms? And these were the research insights. I'm not going to go through, well, I might go through it all. I'll do a top line. Research insights: when gym marketing feels too scary. So ultra fit inspiration falls flat. Highly attractive fitness influence may decrease engagement because they feel unattainable. Research shows fit inspiration content often increases body dissatisfaction and negative mood. 2, fear appeals only work when backed by efficacy. Fear-based messages can only work if they include clear pathways to action. Without them, they risk backfiring. So our adverts that went out, obviously, if we're using games athletes and the shredded people all the fucking time, and the games athletes are the ones that are doing the advertising, then point 1 will scare off many, many, many people because it puts them off. But we don't necessarily see that in the new campaigns that are coming out. We see all sorts of body types. So we want to see different people in these advertisements. Number 2, fear appeals only work when backed by efficacy. Fear-based messages can work if they include clear pathways to action. We do that. As long as we are showing clear pathways, we use decent coaching and scaling options in the advertisements and the marketing campaigns, we're good. It's not all top tip of the spear demonstration of fitness. And the good thing is we haven't seen that. Shock tactics can alienate. Shock advertising grabs attention, but can alienate audiences, especially in wellness contexts. And I like the word wellness there because we do, and this brings me back to the question earlier, where are you putting them in the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum? Where are you putting those people? If you answered anywhere near the wellness centerpiece, Are the people in the wellness space currently, are they going to enjoy the harsher, grittier, fuck the system approach? Potentially. Don't know. Only you can answer that for your individual affiliate. Remember, all affiliates, all towns, all regions, all states, all countries, they all have their unique, different perspectives and bespoke audiences and demographics they're going to use. Point 4, fitness marketing ethics and credibility matter. Lack of credibility in fitness marketing can discourage newcomers and undermine trust. I think once we've had a clear campaign going through for a couple of quarters, so maybe in 6 months' time when our third one comes out, I think we will have some credibility with a consistent approach to marketing. I think we can do that. Clear and compassionate alternatives. Highly polished, super fit visuals is the marketing pitfall. This is the interesting one. Use diverse, authentic, beginner-friendly images. Yeah, we do want to appeal to beginners, but we don't necessarily want to just only appeal to beginners, do we? So I'm not there. Fear-based look at what's wrong with you messaging. Now, this is one that I think the attention can be made. Pair challenging framing with clear supportive action steps. That, I think, is what we've done really well with the first ones and the supportive ones that you can see on the back end coming through with the campaigns. Shock or guilt-based content. Positive, so this is it, the guilt one, right? Positive motivational tone and real success stories. The success stories are coming from the affiliates. They're the affiliate stories that you get put out from the affiliates. Builds emotional connection and trust. That's cool. That's a good line. That is one that we need to keep in there. Anonymous and unverified claims. You testimonial content from real credible people. So the sample brief copy concepts. Headline 1, start where you are, see how far you can go. Bollocks. Friendly coaching, small sets, big change. I prefer that one. So I read all that, and a lot of it makes sense in our context. But again, I'm really, really struggling, and I'm on the fence here. And I would love to just say, "Oh, I'm sold, I'm in," but I'm not there yet. CrossFit. Here's a question for you. Does being a good CrossFitter, i.e. not a games athlete, but just to being a part of our culture, is it mutually exclusive to being a tosser? Or can you be both? I think many people in our game are, to quote you, tossers, but they fit in well with our culture. We're very decisive. We're very abrupt. We know what we want. We chase after what we want. We disregard certain people in our lives because they don't go in line with what we want. And we're harsh and we tell the truth. We're cognizant of subjective reality. Subjective reality has been not necessarily the truer path. And to people on the outside, we can come across a bit I'll say it, rude, abrupt. We're like that. We nurture that and we encourage it. It's like fucking straight line. We want A to B, right? We want that. And the whole fucking point of CrossFit in our culture is to make people like that. Forging elite fitness, forging fucking straight lines. Get more assertive. If your husband's a dickhead and you've been doing CrossFit for 2 years, fucking ask him the questions. Like, we get more assertive, and that's what we do. And our ad campaigns, here's the conflict in my head again. The ad campaigns, they're like that, but we're trying to recruit people that we want to turn into that, not people that are already like that necessarily. So replace Christianity with Islam, what word do you use instead of evangelicals? Have a think. I had a weird dream. I want to. Did it involve throwing sausages at walls? Because that was my one. Yeah, there we go. My friend Steve at Defiant did a mile burpee bound this morning. So, I mean, I'm not going to pull it up, but El Padrino, yeah. One word for it. Do you think if I said to you psychological terrorism, what would that imply? Psychological terrorism. What would that look like to you, El Padrino? I did the mile like, yeah, fuck me. So we did. I remember when that was fucking the thing to do, wasn't it? We broke it up. We did 4 lots of 400-meter lunge around the track with a 400-meter run, but after each one. So it ended up being 2 miles, but it was 400 lunge, 400 run. I don't think I've ever had. Nailed it. No, that's one definition. But what would, going back to that, what traits, not a label, Jon, what traits would psychological terrorism have? Jakey Concrete. But anyway, the lunge thing, the only time that I've had worse DOMs than that lunge mile with the running in between was when I did 1,000 wall balls. I've got a video of that somewhere. Yeah, exactly. So define terrorism. We define fitness, so we can. Yeah, you got to define something before you do it. You can do that. That's just Rabdo set. By the way, I've got a question for you lot. Did you see Shelby Neal's post on when she got Rabdo? Did you see her saying about how she got it? I want your thoughts on that. Basically, she said it's because she did Murph. What do you take away from that statement? I got Rabdo because I did Murph. What does that make you not think about her? What does that make you feel about Murph? Does that give you any reflections upon Murph as a games athlete doing it? Yeah. Fear, manipulation, isolation, the same way. She did. I think she might have done too much prep. Yeah. I love Shelby now. Fucking brilliant. She's one of those women that I just want at the games every year. She's just funny. She should laugh. Rabdo is a myth. No, it's not a myth. Definitely not a myth. Fucking hell. So Steve, yeah. So Steve did the burpee bound mile this morning, and it took him just over an hour. I think it was what did he say it was? Where is he? An hour and 8 minutes. I haven't got a fucking clue how long that would take. I remember Goggins did a mile of tire flips. How long do you reckon that would take? I reckon we should all do, right? We should plan this and we should all do a mile of something on the same day at one point. That'd be cool. That'd be fun. Or just a mile of something. We can get videos together. How about that? Anyway, yeah. So going back to the marketing, it's a work in progress for me up here. I need to still, and I do love it. I know there's something there for me to latch onto and to enjoy and to line the two up to be a really positive thing. I'm just struggling with it a little bit. That's all. Do you know what I did like as well? I really liked, and I'm not saying that I didn't like the content of it, but I really liked the conversation that came about after Tyler made that graph, the chart, the graphic. I really enjoyed that something so simple like a visual can have that effect. Away from all the noise and the clatter, there's actual conversation being had around it. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I do like that. Can I walk and drink a coffee for a mile? Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Go for it. Grant loves miles. Yeah, I'm with you, Judy. So you guys have, is it Labor Day tomorrow? You have to tell me what that's about. Is it what I think it is? It's to celebrate the people that work labor jobs and do labor. Is it just to sort of say, here's to you guys, thanks for actually doing work all year round? Yeah. Tell me everything about Labor Day. I want to know. We don't really have days to celebrate much. I will have all my workers run a mile for your video, Jane. Oh, 300. Yeah. Is that running across borders? They can't wear white after tomorrow is all I know. Can't wear white after tomorrow. It's used for government workers to have a day off. So is it just government workers then? Is that what that is? Is that what they mean by labour? I don't know. So when I hear like labourers over here in our context, that's like brickies, electricians, plumbers, all people that work that end of it. I weighed 94.3 kilos this morning. I don't wear white after Labour Day, I believe. In Canada, all holidays are government workers. Okay. Yeah, got my powerlifting meet next Saturday. So it's like 6 days now. Fuck me. It's about the labour movement and abusing workers, but federal holiday. Okay. I'll wear what I want. Cool. So me and Jon spoke this morning. We've got a fucking busy month ahead of us, Jon, or a couple of months. Really busy. Got loads of stuff going on. But we were talking earlier, and one thing that Jon and I both really defines us, I guess, Jon. You might say this, you might agree with this, Jon. One thing that defines us and has been a really strong theme throughout both of our lives is music. And we want to kind of branch off into that as well on our channel. We want to get more involved with like musicians and get them on the show, because we had James Plange from a band a little while ago. He's a singer in a hardcore band who has got a is it Mass Movement, Jon? He's got his own power building platform and programming system. But I really want to get involved with the music industry as well in terms of interviewing and having these chats, because I fucking love it. You could definitely say that. So yeah, me and Jon are gonna. So if any of you guys think there's any musicians or bands or upcoming bands or people that you know about that you like the sound of and you think deserve some exposure, and me and Jon would like, DM us their account because we really want to get involved with that because it's something that we share a lot of passion on. Jon knows a lot more about the rock industry than I do, especially like the hardcore stuff. Um, but yeah, I like across all the genres. We just we spoke about this, and we just want to fucking like we want to speak to everyone. Like we don't care what they do or what they're good at, or like, we just want to talk to everyone on this giant path to fucking doing what they love. It's cool. Um, you know, go for it. Which one? Which one? Eddie? Is it Eddie? Did you book Lily Phillips? I love her accent like yours. Lily Phillips. Do I know her? I'm just Googling at the moment. My algorithm is brilliant at the moment. Lily Phillips. Who's Lily? Lily Phillips. Don't know her. Sorry. There's a no. Don't know. Sorry. Um. Oh, that'd be why I don't know her then. I won't bring that up. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I Instagrammed it. I'm sure if I Googled it, I'd go, oh yeah. But I Instagrammed it, and I don't know if I can't recognize her face or anything. Wasn't that the other one? Wasn't that Bonnie Blue? That one, Jon. Yeah. Tia. No, it's Jon. Who's this guest? Which one? Which one am I announcing? Eddie. What's the opening for your power bottom, Med? Meat. So we're talking kilos, obviously, in the barbell sports globally. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to bring that up so I don't forget because I'm going to go on there. I need to hit 535 to qualify for English camps in December. Oh, by the way, Sid isn't going ahead. Strength in Depth has been sold as a business, so they're not going ahead in December. Just if anyone cares, Strength in Depth's been sold. Yeah, English champs. So I need 535, and I'm thinking I've hit all these numbers in the last 2 weeks. I need to hit a 190 squat, a 130 bench, and a 215 deadlift, and that gives me 235. If I can go heavy on the squat initially, it obviously gives me a little leeway. But my openers, I'm thinking of going 175, 190, and then I'll see what I do on the last one. Bench 120, 130, and then whatever. Deadlift probably 205, 215, and then whatever. So I'm pretty comfortable hitting those three numbers as my second lift. So I'll do that. Yeah. Yeah. So Eddie is, and Jon, you'll have to tell me if there's a date. I can't remember what the date was, but yeah, Eddie Ift replied to us probably about 3 weeks ago now, Jon. And Jon's been dealing with him and organising it. So he's going to come on the show soon, I believe. But he's keen to do that, which will be awesome. And if you don't know who he is, you can Google him or you can wait and listen in. So that's cool. I know. I know. I hit 130 for a triple, dead stop, like comp standard for a triple about 2 weeks ago. And I know I can hit more than 130, but to spread the 535 across the three lifts, I think a 190, a 130, and a 215 is what I need to hit. So I'm going to aim for that. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see. But also bearing in mind, I'm having to cut a bit of weight here. And also I've got High Rocks in 6 weeks. So the ultimate hybrid athlete, hybrid rock star, you might say. Um, hmm. Yeah. What we talk about? Mugs? Guaranteed to spill, tumbler I may spill. Sorry, I'm lost there. Good. So I'm going to continue to work on my, what's the word? Cognitive dissonance. No one else seems to be having this trouble with it all. And I might just be overthinking it, but I can't move on until I've pieced the two together. So I'll continue to do that. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I'm going to stock car racing today again. My nephew and my brother-in-law are over, so we're going to go there in a bit. They'll be back soon from their walk in the woods. Yeah, going to go to stock car. People going around. Steve's just said he beat someone 12 years younger than him today on the burpee thing, which is good. Dennis and War Walks. So anyone that's up at fucking silly o'clock on a Labor Day, go and join the 5 a.m. squat club. I definitely. So the thing is with me, was your name Adam? I think it's Adam, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you'll find right-hand drive is the original way of riding a horse on the correct side of a road so that you could hold your fucking shield. And then the Frenchies came along and they decided, the fucking poor people decided when they revolted against the fucking aristocrats and did the French Revolution, they wanted to go on the left-hand side to cause confusion. And then you lot ran with that. So don't come to me saying that driving on the right-hand side of the road is wrong. You're just Frenchies, all right? So don't come at me with that, boy. I'm talking about this shit. Do you know what? I have not watched any of it. I have not got a clue what happened. All I saw was Austin Hatfield fell off and did a thing, pony thing, and that's that. That's all I know about it. Literally all I know. I know nothing about it. I've been out living my life. Can you hear me? I've been here the whole time, just watching the chat. I'm buffering while I wait. Anyone with me? Right. Thank you, CrossFit. Thank you. Right. Okay. So I will wrap it up soon because I've got no. Have a great afternoon. I'm going to sort my everyone. But have a lovely day, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've had a good time. And yeah, see you soon. Bye for now.